Welcome to That's Good Sports. Today I have an update on former Bills punter Matt Araiza. Now let me start by saying I'm not comfortable talking about this shit. I don't think anyone is, due to how disturbing the initial allegations were. Today's episode, I'm putting my shtick aside. And by shtick, I am referring to my desperate attempts to be humorous with NFL news. I know some of you are saying, what humor? There are normally jokes in these videos, to which I say fuck you. Yes, there normally is. Today, I'm not trying to give my opinion. I'm just trying to update you on a weird story. An unfortunate story. That said, Matt Araiza may be innocent of any wrongdoing, which is a relief considering he was accused of participating in a gang rape. Just completely disturbing accusations, again, that I don't think many of us are qualified to really discuss in the format that is sports news. This is a story, though, that began last preseason after the Buffalo Bills drafted the San Diego State punter in the 6th round. A draft pick many were excited about because Araiza, while at SDSU, earned the nickname the Punt God, and in the Bills preseason game, he blasted an 82-yard punt, living up to the hype, which was complemented by his two 80-plus yard punts at SDSU the season prior. It's hard to get excited about a punter, but people genuinely were until these accusations surfaced. Now, his NFL career ended or was put on pause after allegations of gang rape were made public via a civil suit filed against Araiza stemming from when he was attending SDSU. Araiza and two other men were accused of sexual assault and false imprisonment of a 17-year-old girl at a Halloween party in 2021. This crime had been under investigation for quite some time, and the question everyone wondered last August was, did the Buffalo Bills know before drafting him? If they did, for how long? And did any other teams know that this investigation was going on? Yesterday, we learned that Araiza will not be charged criminally. That conclusion was reached after a 10-month investigation by the San Diego police. They then turned over the case to the district attorney, and they did so without a recommendation for prosecution. Not only is Araiza not being charged, the evidence obtained may clear him of any wrongdoing. We knew all the way back in December of last year that Araiza would not be charged, but we did not know why at the time. Between the San Diego police investigation and the DA investigation, a 200-page report of what prosecutors found was made available, plus a detailed explanation of why the DA believes Matt Araiza was not part of the alleged rape. And based on video recordings, the report stated, in looking at the videos on the sex tape, I absolutely cannot prove any forcible sexual assault based upon what happened. Furthermore, they determined that Matt Araiza wasn't at the party when the incident occurred. So, at this point, what we know is that the San Diego police didn't move on with the criminal charge, and the DA doesn't believe or cannot conclude that a crime even happened, and that if an assault was committed, Araiza was not present. Yahoo Sports put together an article detailing the findings, and they wrote, the dual investigations by police and prosecutors included over 35 witness interviews, including some of the girl's friends who came to the party with her that night. The results of a sexual assault team exam conducted the following day and 10 search warrants that produced 4 terabytes of information, including numerous short videos of some of the alleged encounters. They led authorities to come to vastly different conclusions than what was alleged in the civil suit. End quote. The accuser's attorney, Dan Gillian, noted that his client won't be dropping the civil suit and that this case will go to trial. That's important because even with Matt Araiza not being charged criminally, he still will have to go through the process with this civil suit, which means if an NFL team were to give him a chance, they'd have to be willing to accept that as part of the process. That's one factor. The other thing to consider here is that there is video evidence of sex happening. Not with Araiza, but with the other men. And I think there is video from 2 different occasions during the evening. And even though investigators determined it appeared consensual, the alleged victim was only 17 at the time. Furthermore, Araiza did have a sexual encounter with the girl earlier in the evening. He admits that, but has maintained that that was consensual and that he was led to believe she was 18. At this point, we're talking about possibly 3 different sexual encounters during the same evening with an underage girl. That is a big issue moving forward. But from the report, witnesses in interviews told authorities that the girl was telling people she was 18 and that her friends also stated she did not appear to be drunk at the time. Those were 2 key factors in the accusations. The DA also uncovered a recording from the night before where the alleged victim stated that she was 18 on camera. Now, I don't know the context surrounding that recording or why she's saying it on camera, but it adds to the validity to the claims from the party that the witnesses recalled her saying that she was 18. In the original lawsuit, the victim claimed to be very inebriated, and there is now counter evidence from witnesses at the party and from her very own friends. From that initial suit, the claim was that Araiza should have known she was heavily intoxicated and also underage. To encapsulate everything we know, it's that based on a police investigation, a DA investigation, witness accounts, and video evidence, Matt Araiza is not being charged of any crime. There, of course, is the issue with the fact that she was 17, but I don't know what that means considering authorities have concluded she possibly told people at the party that she was 18 and that Matt was 20 or 21 at the time. Those are the facts from the investigation. I'm not going to speculate on anything that I do not know. What this looks like, though, is a story that was fabricated by the alleged victim, at least in concern to Araiza's involvement, which is incredibly sad. And I'm not even talking about Matt Araiza and everything this has done to mess up his career in life. I'm talking about victims of sexual assault. This is the type of thing that enables people to not believe victims. If 2 different entities, the police department and DA, came to the conclusion that Matt Araiza didn't do anything wrong, then hopefully that's enough for an NFL team to give him another opportunity. We will see what happens with the civil suit still pending. If and or when that goes to trial, it will be up to a jury to determine the outcome there, but that will not lead to any criminal punishments if Araiza or any of the accused men are determined to have done something wrong. Only compensation can be awarded for the harm to the victim in a civil suit. Essentially, we went from thinking that Matt Araiza may have participated in a horrific crime to now thinking that it looks like he was falsely accused and that no crime at all was committed. And that's a lot to process. And my opinion on all of this is irrelevant, especially because I did not and will not read the 200-page report from the investigation. I'm also not going to comment on the woman involved in this situation. Accusations of this magnitude are very serious and incredibly damaging to someone's reputation and ultimately their life. If it is determined that these accusations are not true, that's a pretty terrible thing as well, and there should be legal repercussions for such a thing. But also, the information being presented about this case is specifically relating in mostly to Matt Araiza. It's coming from one source, which is the Yahoo Sports article. All the other articles I read are just citing that. So there is information about this case that we don't know yet, and that's why I'm going to refrain from trying to have some sort of complete opinion about the whole situation. Back when this happened last August, I think the idea was, this sounds horrible, Let's wait for more information to come out. We've got more information. It's changed our opinion about Matt and about what happened, but there's still, I think, a lot of information that we don't know. The fact, though, is Matt Araiza is not being charged based on the evidence from the investigation. I think that's really important. It's different than if he was not being charged due to a lack of evidence. A lack of evidence means there's not enough to pursue charging him legally. This evidence states he didn't do it. What we can say about Araiza is that this was and probably still will be incredibly damaging to his career. Even with this resolution, it's not hyperbole to say that he lost millions of dollars because of this, as well as the opportunity to play with the team that drafted him. And I don't necessarily fault Buffalo for releasing him when they did, because what else were they supposed to do in this situation? This was an unfortunate situation because the Bills were beholden to public scrutiny and, of course, their own morals based on the information they had at the time. And we can remember how graphic and disturbing those allegations were back... shit! Terrible time for a sneeze. For those allegations back in August at the time of Araiza's release. I do hope Araiza gets another shot soon, and I think he will, given his talent. Araiza wasn't the first punter drafted in 2022, but he was by far the most spectacular and talented punter coming out of college in recent memory. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports, Serious Edition. Back to the bullshit tomorrow.